Right now, in your own living room, you might be doing something that makes your cat's heart race, their pupils dilate, and their stress hormones spike, and you don't even know it's happening. It's not the vet visits, it's not the car rides, it's something you probably do every single day without a second thought. And by the end of this video, you're going to look at your cat completely differently. Stick around, because mistake number 4 is one that almost every single cat owner makes, and it's silently damaging the trust between you and your cat. Hey everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, this channel is all about understanding our cats better so we can give them the calm, happy life they actually deserve. And if that sounds like something you care about, do me a quick favor right now. Hit that like button and subscribe, because it genuinely helps this channel grow, and it means I get to keep making videos like this one that actually help your cat live a less stressed, happier life. Okay, let's get into it. And here's the part that really gets me. Most of the people watching this video right now would never intentionally hurt their cat. You love your cat. You'd probably do almost anything for them. That's exactly why this video matters so much, because the stress we're talking about today isn't coming from bad intentions, it's coming from a simple gap in understanding. Cats can't tell us in words when something is bothering them, they can only show us through behavior, and if we don't know what to look for, we miss it completely. So today, we're going to close that gap together, one everyday habit at a time. Cats are not small dogs. That's the first thing we need to get out of our heads. Dogs evolved as pack animals who thrive on constant social interaction, loud excitement, and physical closeness. Cats did not. Cats evolved as solitary hunters, and also, don't forget, as prey animals. That means their brains are wired for two very different jobs at once. They need to hunt, but they also need to constantly watch their back. That combination makes them incredibly sensitive to sudden changes, loud noises, and anything that feels unpredictable. So when we treat our cats like tiny dogs, or worse, like stuffed toys we can pick up and squeeze whenever we feel like it, we're accidentally creating a home environment that keeps their nervous system on high alert. And a cat that's constantly stressed doesn't just seem grumpy, it can actually develop real health problems, from digestive issues to urinary tract disease to hair loss from over-grooming. So this isn't just about your cat's mood, this is about their actual physical health. Let's talk about the everyday habits that are quietly doing the damage. The first one is yelling or punishing your cat when they do something wrong. I get it, your cat knocks a glass off the counter or scratches the couch for the 10th time this week, and your instinct is to yell or spray them with water or tap them on the nose. But here's the problem. Cats don't process punishment the way dogs do. A dog might connect a scolding with the bad behavior and feel guilty, even if that guilty look is really more about reading your body language than actual understanding. A cat, on the other hand, doesn't make that same connection. What your cat learns from being yelled at isn't, "I shouldn't scratch the couch." What they learn is, "Sometimes without warning my owner turns scary." That's it. That's the whole lesson. And once a cat starts associating you with unpredictable scary moments, they start avoiding you, hiding more, and trusting you less. The scratching doesn't even stop because you never actually addressed why they were scratching in the first place, which is usually because they need to stretch, mark territory, or just don't have an appropriate scratching post nearby. So instead of punishment, the better move is redirection. Give them a better option and reward them when they use it. The second everyday mistake is changing their food or their routine suddenly. Cats are creatures of habit in a way that might genuinely surprise you. They like their food at the same time, their litter box in the same place, and their daily rhythm to stay mostly predictable. When you switch their food brand overnight or suddenly start feeding them an hour later because your schedule changed, it might seem like a small thing to you, but to your cat, that's a disruption in their sense of safety. Their whole world is built around routine, because in the wild, predictability meant survival. A sudden change signals that something in the environment is different, and different can mean dangerous. This is actually one of the reasons vets recommend transitioning cat food gradually over a week or two, mixing the old and new food together, rather than swapping it instantly. It's not just about their stomach, it's about their stress levels too. So if you're planning any kind of change, whether that's a new feeding schedule, a new type of litter, or even rearranging the furniture, try to do it slowly and let your cat adjust at their own pace. The third mistake, and this one is huge, is not giving your cat enough vertical space or hiding spots. In the wild, cats feel safest when they can see their surroundings from above, or when they have a small enclosed space to retreat into when things feel overwhelming. Think about it this way: a cat sitting on top of a cat tree or a shelf isn't just being cute, they're doing exactly what their instincts tell them to do, gaining a vantage point so they can monitor their environment and feel in control. When a home doesn't offer that, when everything is at floor level and there's nowhere to escape to, Your cat is essentially stuck living life at eye level with every dog, child, vacuum cleaner, and stranger that walks through the door. That's a constant low hum of stress they're carrying around all day. The fix here doesn't have to be expensive. A simple cat tree near a window, a cleared-off shelf, or even just a cardboard box turned on its side in a quiet corner can completely change how safe your cat feels in their own home. Now let's talk about mistake number 4. The one I mentioned at the very start of this video, because I promise you, almost everyone watching this is guilty of it. It's forcing affection on your cat. Picking them up when they don't want to be picked up, holding them on your lap when they're clearly trying to get away, chasing them around the house because you just want to give them a hug. I know it comes from a place of love, you adore your cat and you want to shower them with affection, but here's the thing, cats show love completely differently than we do. A cat that's rubbing against your leg, or sitting a few feet away just quietly keeping you company, or slow blinking at you from across the room, that cat is expressing deep affection in exactly the way that feels safe and natural to them. When you override that and force physical contact anyway, you're teaching your cat that their attempts to communicate don't matter. That no matter what signal they give you, they're going to end up trapped in your arms regardless. Over time, this actually damages the bond because your cat starts to see you as unpredictable and a little bit untrustworthy, even though your intentions were completely loving. The better approach is to let your cat come to you. Sit on the floor, get low, let them approach in their own time, and let physical affection be something they choose, not something they endure. The 5th mistake is messing with the litter box in ways that stress your cat out. This includes moving the litter box to a new location without warning, using a scented litter that's overwhelming to their sensitive nose, or probably the most common one, just not cleaning it often enough. Cats have an incredibly strong sense of smell, way more powerful than ours, and a dirty litter box isn't just unpleasant for them, it can actually feel unsafe. Because in the wild, leaving waste behind can attract predators. So a cat who avoids a dirty litter box isn't being difficult, they're following an ancient survival instinct. If you've ever had a cat suddenly start going to the bathroom outside the box, before assuming it's a behavior problem, always rule out a medical issue with your vet first, but also take a hard look at that litter box situation. Is it clean? Is it in a quiet, low traffic spot? Do you have enough boxes for the number of cats in your home? The general rule vets recommend is 1 litter box per cat plus 1 extra. Mistake number 6 is filling your home with strong smells without thinking about how overwhelming that is for your cat. We're talking scented candles, air fresheners, essential oil diffusers, strong-smelling cleaning products, even certain fragrances in your own perfume or lotion. Remember, your cat's nose is estimated to be somewhere between 14 and 40 times more sensitive than a human's. What smells like a pleasant hint of lavender to you might feel like walking into an overwhelming wall of scent to them. And it's not just uncomfortable. Some essential oils are actually toxic to cats if they're diffused in an enclosed space, or if the cat licks their fur after the oil settles on it. So, if you love candles and diffusers, that's completely fine. Just be mindful of ventilation, keep certain oils away from your cat entirely, and pay attention to whether your cat starts avoiding a room after you introduce a new scent. That avoidance is valuable information. The 7th mistake is direct, prolonged eye contact and staring. In the cat world, a long, unblinking stare is actually a challenge or a threat signal, not a friendly gesture. We humans love to lock eyes with our pets because that's how we bond with other humans, but to a cat, especially one you don't know well, or even one you do know but who's already feeling a bit anxious, a hard stare can feel confrontational. This is actually why the slow blink is such a famous trick in the cat world. If you want to communicate calm affection to your cat, look at them, then slowly close your eyes for a second or two and open them again. That's basically a cat's version of a smile, and it tells them, I'm relaxed, I trust you, there's no threat here. Try doing this the next time your cat is looking at you, and you might notice them start to relax, or even do it back. Let me pause here for a second, because I want to share something that happened with my own cat a while back, just so you can see how this actually plays out in real life. I used to think my cat was being dramatic every time I had friends over. She'd disappear the second the doorbell rang and not come out again until everyone left, sometimes hours later. I genuinely thought that was just her personality until I started paying closer attention to everything we've talked about so far: the noise, the strangers, the lack of a safe vertical retreat in our living room. Once I added a tall cat tree in the corner of the room and started closing her into a quiet bedroom with her own food and litter box during parties instead of leaving her to fend for herself, she completely changed. She still didn't want to be the center of attention, and that's fine, but she stopped disappearing in a panic. She'd sometimes even come out and watch from her tree once things settled down. That's the difference between a cat who is stressed and hiding out of fear and a cat who simply has boundaries and prefers her space. Once you start making these small adjustments, you'll probably notice something similar in your own home. Mistake number 8 is introducing new pets, new people, or big changes too quickly. Whether it's a new puppy, a new baby, a new roommate, or even just having a lot of guests over for a party, cats need time to process new presences in their territory. When you rush the introduction, letting a new dog run right up to sniff your cat, or handing your cat over to every guest at a party to be pet and held, you're putting them in a position where they have no control and no time to assess whether this new thing is safe. This is a huge trigger for stress-related behaviors like hiding for days, hissing, or even redirected aggression, where your cat lashes out at whoever is nearest simply because they're overwhelmed. The better approach with any new introduction is to go slow, use closed doors and scent swapping before face-to-face meetings, and always give your cat an escape route so they never feel cornered. The 9th mistake is underestimating how much noise affects your cat. Vacuum cleaners, blenders, loud television, kids running and screaming through the house, even just having music blasting all day. Cats have incredibly sensitive hearing, far beyond human range, which means sounds that are mildly annoying to us can be genuinely painful or frightening to them. If your cat bolts and hides every time the vacuum comes out, that's not overly dramatic behavior. That's a completely rational response to something that sounds like an approaching predator to them. You don't have to live in silence, but being aware of your cat's reaction to loud sounds and giving them a quiet, safe space to retreat to during noisy activities can make a massive difference in their daily stress levels. The 10th and final everyday mistake is simply not learning to read your cat's body language and therefore missing all the signals they're already giving you. A tail flicking rapidly back and forth, ears pinned flat or rotated sideways, skin rippling along their back, dilated pupils in a well-lit room. These are all signs your cat is uncomfortable, overstimulated, or approaching their limit. And if we miss them, we end up pushing past the point where they're comfortable, which usually results in a scratch, a bite, or your cat storming off, and then we're left confused about what just happened. The truth is, your cat was telling you the whole time, we just weren't listening. Learning even the basics of feline body language is honestly one of the single most powerful things you can do to reduce your cat's stress because it lets you back off before things escalate instead of after. And there's one more mistake I want to add here, an 11th one, because I think it might actually be the sneakiest of them all. It's inconsistency in how different people in the household treat the cat. Maybe you're the one who respects your cat's boundaries, you let them approach on their own terms, you notice their body language, you give them space when they need it. But maybe someone else in the house, a partner, a roommate, a well-meaning kid, doesn't follow those same rules. They pick the cat up whenever they want, they chase them for a cuddle, they don't understand why the cat suddenly hisses or swats. From your cat's perspective, this creates a genuinely confusing and stressful environment because safety isn't consistent. One person in the house is predictable and respectful and another is not, and your cat has no way of knowing, in any given moment, which version of the household they're walking into. This is honestly one of the most overlooked sources of chronic stress in multi-person homes, and it's worth having an actual conversation with everyone living in the house about respecting the cat's signals the same way. Cats thrive on consistency, and that includes consistency between the humans around them, not just consistency in schedule and environment. It's also worth mentioning that stress in cats doesn't always look dramatic. We often picture a stressed cat as one who's hissing, hiding under the bed, or refusing to come out for days. But a lot of the time, chronic low-level stress is much quieter than that. It can look like a cat who over-grooms one particular spot until the fur thins out. It can look like a cat who seems a little more clingy than usual, following you from room to room, not out of pure affection, but out of anxiety about being left alone. It can look like changes in appetite, sudden weight loss, or even repeated trips to the litter box with very little actually happening. These subtle signs are easy to miss, especially if you're not specifically looking for them, but they're often the first clue that something in your cat's daily environment needs to change. If you notice any of these signs in your own cat, it's always worth a trip to the vet first to rule out an underlying medical cause, and then take a closer look at the everyday habits we've talked about today. So here's the good news in all of this. None of these fixes require you to be a professional cat behaviorist. It's really about awareness, slowing down, watching your cat's reactions, and respecting their instincts instead of expecting them to just adapt to ours. Small changes like letting them choose when to be touched, keeping their routine steady, giving them height and hiding spots, and paying attention to their body language can transform an anxious, on-edge cat into one who feels genuinely safe and secure in their own home. And when a cat feels safe, that's when you see their real personality come out, the playful side, the affectionate side, the goofy side that only shows up once the stress melts away. Before you go, I want to hear from you. Down in the comments, tell me which one of these surprised you the most, or even better, tell me a habit of your own that you're going to change starting today. I read every single comment, and honestly, hearing your cat stories is one of my favorite parts of making these videos. If this video helped you see your cat a little differently, share it with another cat owner who needs to hear this. It genuinely helps more people and more cats out there. And if you haven't already, subscribe so you don't miss the next video, because we've got a lot more coming on how to build a genuinely stress-free life for your cat. And one last thought before I let you go. Your cat isn't trying to make your life difficult. They're not being spiteful or stubborn or ungrateful, even when it feels that way in the moment. Every single behavior we've talked about today, the hiding, the hissing, the scratching, the avoiding, all of it is your cat's way of trying to feel safe in a world that's mostly built around human needs instead of feline ones. The beautiful part is, you have far more power to change that than you probably realized before hitting play on this video. A few small shifts in how you approach your daily routine can be the difference between a cat who's constantly bracing for the next surprise and a cat who finally gets to relax, stretch out in a sunny spot, and just exist without worry. That's the kind of life every cat deserves, and now you know exactly how to help give it to them. Thanks so much for watching. Give your cat a little extra patience today, and I'll see you in the next one.